What's up?
Oh.
Hey, everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going.
Yeah.
As you just heard before the show started, it's going.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. That was a weird inhale. Did you hear that?
That was. Doing all right?
I don't know, man.
The answer to that is always no. Nobody's ever doing all right. We're passing.
I'm doing fine. Welcome back to Outside the Cinema, your weekly source for cult movie discussion. We're your hosts. I'm Bill. That's Chris. We are here to talk about movies, mostly. Complain about our lives, talk about movies a little bit. That's how it goes. We were pseudo off last week. I created a show. I'm very proud of those shows that I create. I feel almost more accomplished, like reworking old stuff than I do when we do new stuff, because I listen back and I'm like, oh, this is when I put work into this. Like I listened back to the week. So the episode last week, if for some reason you missed it, we took two old, man, I'm burping, sorry. Two old reviews and an old Scott segment, but we used the 50 Shades of Scott segment.
Oh.
Which is one of my proudest moments on the show, because the shit was fucking hilarious. But I like thinking back the amount of work that went into doing it, between me getting all of the sound effects ready to go, Scott recording like a whole bunch of clips, and then we used to use this awesome software that I don't even remember what it was called, Podware or something like that had like all the like. Before we had like the mixers we have now and stuff, like everything you had to do like virtually. So it had all like the built-in carts and the sound effects and everything in the software.
Yep.
And back then I was like, oh man, if they could just make a mixer that has all of this stuff, and now we have that. So
yeah. That's
great. If you didn't listen to it, go back and catch it. It was a really, really good time. Chris failed miserably in the 50 Shades of Scott segment.
I think that's a good thing, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
So it's so long ago in my memory now, it doesn't matter.
It was almost 10 years ago.
Jesus.
Scott was like, we did this segment 9.5 years ago.
Wow.
I'm like, that's fucking messed up. Messed up. No.
And that's it. Thank you, everybody. Oh.
I don't know. I just silence it. Just silence it. It's fine. All right. I'm also going to have to make sure that I have the other stuff turned up when I need to. All right, cool. Show this week. Chris, what are we doing for movies, bud?
We got something that uses two words I'm familiar with, but like Naked Lunch, don't really seem to have much to do with the movie, and it's called Punk Rock. From 1977, I want to say.
Did you do any research on that by any chance?
No.
Oh, man, I got some great stories for you.
Good. I figured you would, so I didn't want to go
great
too.
Stories.
So the other one, I was watching debunking conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and they mentioned this pseudo documentary that was shown in the UK in the mid 70s. No, this was the one that was around 77. They both might have been, I don't know. And what this basically, what this is it's the forerunner to Ghostwatch, pretty much. It's what's funny to me. Let me say this with you. Since it's a hoax, sort of, we got fooled once over here with War of the Worlds, right?
Yep.
They got fooled twice with Alternative 3 and Ghostwatch. So, I don't know. Who's the more discerning viewer? Of course, now it hardly matters.
Nothing matters. I'm sorry, I have a mouthful of donut.
So this actually hour long, which is okay. Pseudo documentary is supposed to. Oh, I guess I'll save that for when we do it.
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, it seemed interesting. Hey, did you know?
No.
Did you know? Well, I think now I don't live in the UK, never have. But never I will. Think never say never. Healthcare and all. So the show Ghostwatch, right? Mm-hmm. There's the UK what is it? BBC, whatever number.
BBC, y'all.
They have a show called Spring Watch, and I think there's other ones too that go along with it, and it's sort of like a nature show. So
It's a mockumentary about springs.
no, it's just like this is the area we're covering, and we're gonna show you like birds hatching and flowers and like super like wholesome, nice stuff.
So like Chronicle?
I guess, yeah.
Chronicle's still on, by the way.
It is. It is. I've been on like 3 episodes of that.
Have you really?
Yeah. just like I was there in a group at the museum and they were doing something, and like when I was a kid, Cub Scouts. I don't remember. Anyway.
Oh, all right.
So I think people were fooled because they put the word watch after ghost, because Spring Watch and all of them have been real documentary styles. That was a great in for people to believe in it right off the bat. So
Makes sense. I actually did not know that.
That's my assumption looking at the shows. Spring Watch, Ghost Watch, or they named Spring Watch after Ghost Watch. I don't know. And they were going to scare people with flowers and turtles and shit.
I mean, any of those flowers and turtles. I mean, if it's a snapper turtle,
oh my God.
that could be scary.
Always. That is always scary. Snapping turtles are monsters that I just can't stop looking at when I see them. So, but they're neat. They're like, it's real life cameras. Are we just filling time to make sure the show's the right length? Or am I just rambling on?
It's so rarely that you go. So I was just kind of letting you do your thing.
Well, things are getting better, so I feel like talking.
Things are getting better.
So yeah, I think so. I got a new medicine. so I didn't take any today.
Oh, well, you better do that. So yeah, so Punk Rock 77, and then Article 3. Yeah, right. Article 3.
No, Alternative 3. Yeah. I want to say 8. I don't know why I want to say alternate 8, but I don't know.
Wasn't it called like Science Report, Alternative 3?
The show was called, but they were talking, the whole show was about alternate number 3 or alternative number 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and it was prevented like Nova, like that TV show.
Oh, I used to watch Nova and always want to like it more than I actually did, because I would watch it and they would like have these really, like, back in the day, PBS had the best, like, they're not really trailers, I guess they're promos for like their shows, and they would always be like, oh man, this is sick. And then I'd turn on Nova and it was like some stuffy scientist that was like, if you take the mass divided by the acceleration rate to the third degree, we will then move past an atmospheric dismemberment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Show me rockets.
Yeah.
I'm like, black holes, that sounds sick. And then it would be like a 45-minute lecture about like mass equals density divided by the like temperature of the sun. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, unrelated. Do you ever have a Wingstop?
No, what is that? What are we talking
about? Wingstop it's a chicken wing place.
Okay, because for a second, Buffalo Wild Wings popped in my head, and I'm like, that is not what he said. And then my brain couldn't reconcile the two together. Where is this place?
So there's one, they're a chain, obviously. You see, if you watch any type of sporting event, you see their commercials all the time, but there's not a lot of them around here. There's one in Medford, though, which is close enough to have delivered to Wakefield. Maybe not for you, but from Wakefield. I'm not sure where the other ones are, but I mean, it's decent. But they recently launched a chicken sandwich, which this is where my kind of point comes from. So if you get their boneless wings or their tenders on their own, they're not bad, but there's nothing special about them.
Okay.
And they obviously, like most wing places, have a bunch of different sauces and stuff. But when you, for whatever reason, when you order the chicken sandwich, and I'm assuming they just put a tender on the sandwich, but like, it is infinitely better in the bread for some reason.
Okay.
Like, I don't get it. Like, I can eat like 4 of the sandwiches, but when I get an order of like boneless tenders or boneless wings or whatever, I eat 2 and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Kind of a weird point to bring up, but I was just thinking about it because we got Wingstop before we watched the Celtics game the other night. Also like one of those things too where they're like, oh, it's the hot buffalo, and I'm like, I'll be the judge of that. And then was like, yeah, this is nothing. I'm like, this is fine. I'm like, there's some spice to it. But then their mango habanero, which was listed two of the chili peppers lower on the heat scale, I was like, oh shit, This is hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally unrelated and random. I just wanted to bring that up. The Wingstop chicken sandwich is definitely worth the time and the money, and you're better off buying like 2 or 3 of those in different flavors than getting the like boneless tenders or whatever. But the regular wings are good. I mean, it's really hard to kind of mess up a regular chicken wing unless like you undercook it or like
yeah.
Actually, no, it's not true. You can mess it up. You undercook it, or you overcook it.
Oh yeah.
Or you just used way too much sauce.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, there's a lot of ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find that like the too much sauce thing seems to go hand in hand with the spiciest shit ever. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's like you get like the really spicy one, it always seems to be absolutely drenched in sauce.
Okay. Yeah.
But then you get like a nice like I don't know.
Yeah,
like
it puts more sauce into your mouth.
Right. I can only assume that's because the person that's like mixing the wings or whatever in the bowl is just like, I ain't touching this. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I really like spicy food, but only up to a certain point. I don't know who I was talking to about this, but the point is like, if the pain is more than the flavor, if I'm not getting flavor and I'm just getting,
it's gotta be flavorful, dude. It's gotta be
molten
flavorful.
tingle, then that's not hot sauce. That's mace.
Yeah, like those ones that are just like 27 million Scoville.
Yeah,
but like it doesn't have any flavor. Like that's why I like Frank's Red Hot. Like Frank's is like the classic, and like, oh, if you're a hot sauce purist, you're like, oh, Frank's is for pussies, whatever. But like it's one of the best tasting ones. Like,
well, it's just how it complements the food. That's what it should do. It shouldn't overpower it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I like a really good one from Rootless Coffee, which is one of the coffee places I buy stuff from. They get a hot sauce that's a coffee infused one, which is muy excellent.
Oh, you know who makes a good hot sauce?
Frank's.
And you may laugh at me for buying this, but it makes sense. Trejo's Tacos.
Oh yeah, I've had it. It's good.
It's good. It is. I have to order more because I keep getting the texts, and I'm like, I should do that, or he's going to come to my house and force me to do it.
You should buy this sauce.
But that is good. I also like the Cholula. Is that how you say it? I don't know.
Sure.
The Chipotle.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
It's a little meaty. I like it. Yeah.
It's got some girth to it.
Yeah, but I don't want it to make me feel like I'm the poor girl from Evil Dead with slices her tongue open. Like that's how some hot sauce feels. Now let's put some salt and alcohol on it. There you go. That's hot sauce.
There you go. Well, let's slice it open first, then put some salt and alcohol on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to Flavor Town, bitch.
Patreon.com/outside the cinema. Sign up if you haven't. I swear to God, we're going to get to these commentaries. Baseball has ruled my life. And then I also, with Seed and Spark for Wound Within, we made the funding point.
Oh, good.
So we'll be shooting that this summer too. If you guys are into Cronenbergian horror, we'll keep you abreast of what's going on with that. Woodsman announcement in a couple of weeks. I have to actually get back with my buddy Carl. Carl, you guys, he's been a friend of the show for a long time. We're working with him on something really cool. Hopefully have an announcement for that in a week or two. Yeah, that's all the stuff.
Nice.
Okay, you want to do punk rock first?
Sure.
All right, I have what I'm assuming may or may not be a trailer here. We're going to find out.
New from Carter Stevens. Punk rock. Punk rock explores the seamy underside of the New York rock scene. Join Carter Stevens as he takes you on a sexual odyssey in the underground world of punk rock. Punk rock is the story of Jimmy Dillinger, a private cop. Follow Jimmy as he searches for a lost girl.
A private cop.
Through the dirty underground jungle of punk rock. Freaky punk rock bands in the strange, sex-filled world of Carter Stevens' punk rock. Let Carter Stevens take you on a sex-filled tour of Jimmy's underground rock world. The music is hot, and so are the women.
Questionable.
Punk rock.
All right, punk rock. Directed. this movie, man. This fucking movie, bro. Directed by Carter Stevens. You might know him from such films as Lickety Split, Highway Hookers, Baby Bound in Boston, Tied, Tickled, and Trampled, Mistress Carmen, Star Pupil, The Good Slave's Reward.
It sounds like they're not brave enough to go full porn.
Spanks a Lot.
Getting there.
Mistress Cherry's Pool Party.
I'd watch that.
A Visit to Mistress Amanda's. Mistress Cleopatra Rules.
Is that her name? Cleopatra Rules?
And Chris's personal favorite.
Yeah.
Forced to Cross-Dress.
That's what Republicans think is going to happen.
And we will finish it here with Princess Pamela Payne at Club Dama. So,
okay, that one with the alliteration, I'm good with that one.
So, to the shocker of nobody, Carter Stevens is a porno and fetish film director. And the film that we watched, Punk Rock, was a porno under a different title called oh, I don't have it here in front of me. Where'd it go? Hold on one sec. I had it. Rock Fever, I think, was one of the other names.
Yes, that was one of the titles, yeah.
But I believe it was actually The Runaway. Something. Either way, it had another title to it.
Okay.
And they basically took out all of the hardcore sex scenes and added the punk rock bands.
Okay.
So
now the movie makes perfect sense.
And infinitely more enjoyable if you watch it knowing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, oh man, it's just so fucking weird.
So for a porn movie, there's actually okay of a plot, more than I would expect.
An incredible, well, because it came out around the time of like Deep Throat and like all of those other like films that like tried to make a like cinematic pornography pornographic film.
Yeah.
What was it? Deep Throat was the one that really kind of changed that, right?
I don't know. I don't know much about early 35 millimeter theatrical porn. I'm more of a home video expert. No, I don't know. But yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like it was Deep Throat, and then like
wasn't there one about a door?
Yeah, the Beyond the Door, I think was another one, and then what was the one with Linda Lovelace?
Green Inferno.
No, that's not.
It was Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
What was that beeping? Oh, that was my phone.
Oh, okay.
What was this guy's name? Carter Stevens?
Wasn't Fisher Stevens, I know that.
No results. All right. Anyway, so yeah, when you watch it knowing that it was made as a pornographic film, a lot of the decisions and the way that it comes together, it makes so much more sense.
All of it makes sense. The acting.
So you got Wade Nichols as Dillinger. He was a definitely a porno star. Had the mustache for it and the eyebrows.
Yeah.
So you got a bunch of people in this that had been in some pornographic films, some up and coming actors and actresses that then unfortunately ended up in this movie, plus scenes of a bunch of not necessarily well known, but New York early punk bands, but we're not talking punk like, and this is one of those things that's really looking at a film like this in 2023 that was released in the late 70s. Because what we know as punk rock now, when we think, the Sex Pistols or Bad Religion or NoFX or Rancid or like punk became a sound that, loud, aggressive guitars, but you got to think back to 1977, 78. You know, you're thinking, you know, like Blondie was like considered a punk band.
Yeah. There was one band that I was like, okay, in the movie that I'm like, all right, this fits the time and the way they're playing music and the way they look and the attitude on stage all is counter to
the band that was pelting everyone with Cheerios.
But yeah, there was the one band that I'm like, oh, they're doing a Devo thing. Okay. And it was like the dude with the print shirt and the bow tie. And I forget what songs they were doing, but it was more avant-garde than the other kind of fast doo-wop stuff that they were doing before that. But the rest of them, it's like, yeah, punk is a wide label that was thrown around at the time, so fine. You know, it was more attitude anyway then.
For sure.
Before it was a definable genre, it was attitude. So
yeah, and that's exactly kind of how you have to look at it, because yeah, if you watch this movie thinking you're going to watch like an aggressive punk rock film, it's not at all what it is. And they really just used like Max of Kansas City's as a backdrop for a number of the scenes, which is how they were able to kind of work it in. And I read on one of the reviews that I saw somewhere, that was basically like they got the use of Max Kansas City's and then just filmed a bunch of the bands with the intention to mix it into a cut that was going to be non-porno.
Yeah, and they did by playing the entire song.
Yeah, so the runtime
every time.
The runtime of this is just over 90 minutes, and there's 25 minutes of live performances from bands.
Yeah.
So the story is simple. You've got Dillinger. He's a private detective. He's been hired by some guy somewhere to find his daughter, who's a runaway, who is now mixed up in drugs. She's a sex worker now. She's, this is the late 70s. She is a whore. She is a hooker, and they also call her a prostitute at one point. But she's, she's been kidnapped but like first it sounded like it was one of these things where she ran away on her own, but then she'd been like kidnapped by these people.
Yeah.
So Dillinger has found her, and he's going to return her to her father, and she wants to go home. So of course, we meet her because she's in bed with him.
Yes.
And immediately, again, if you didn't know that this was a movie that was cut with the sex cut out of it, like the opening scene of him like answering the phone and then her just kind of appearing makes no sense.
Right. You know, who are these people?
You're like, where did she come from? And then you're like, oh, she came from down there.
I do like the way she was introduced. Like you hear the conversation and it slowly dawns on you that that's the girl he rescued from sex work, and they fucked. So
to be honest,
boo
mustache
on
is
you.
on point.
I don't know.
1978 or 79, you see that mustache and you're like, all right, Tom Selleck, let's do this.
Yeah, he was Tom Selleck before Tom Selleck.
Very true. So the meat of the story, if you will, is basically this girl is supposed to be brought back. Dillinger's partner, by the ever so known name of Travis, calls him and is like, hey, listen, I got to talk to you about something. Don't bring the girl, such and such, such and such. So he's like, all right, I got to go. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Then we find Travis gets murdered by someone, and they do the holding of like the knife, like going towards him. And he's like, hey, no, you don't have to do this. You know, what's this all about? Yeah, but you'd be crazy, right? Which is like, I've seen so many movies now, and I'm just like, why is that the way you're reacting? Why are you not like, hey man, fuck you? Like, let's tangle. If you're going to stab me, I'm going to attempt to stop you and not just be like, hey, wait a minute.
Because the script says you get stabbed, but you try to stop them, but you can't do it physically. That's what the script says.
Yeah. Anyway, so
and that's bad. At that point, just cut those parts out, because your actor can't do panicked for their life.
Right.
So and that's fine. Show some screaming. Show a quick run at them, and you're fine. I have to say, the music in this. Which was I forget the guy's name, but his music is all over Hollywood. Most notably for me, were a lot of
music
cues from Black Dynamite. because it's the same music. And if you watch a little bit of this movie, it also feels like some plot points were taken and adjusted for the parody. And that made me enjoy this a little bit more. But the Black Dynamite thing was like straight off the bat. It's what you would call blaxploitation stock music.
Right. You know what type of music it doesn't sound like? Punk rock music.
That is true. That is true.
So another dude shows up with a switchblade back at Dillinger's apartment and re-kidnaps Jana was her name, right? No, Jana was the other girl.
Oh, shit. What was
Jenny?
her name?
Jenny. I think it was Jenny. There was Jenny and there was Jana, Jezebel, Juana.
Jean. I heard Jean loves Jezebel.
So she gets re-kidnapped, and basically now Dillinger is trying to get her back.
Yeah.
And that's the story. That's really it. Obviously, there's a twist coming. I shouldn't say obviously, but they do actually throw a twist in it. It was super predictable if you were paying attention, but like, good on them for, what is a porno movie of them actually like giving some cues. Yeah, the music was super stock and super terrible. The band performances were fine. The bands I thought were all terrible.
No, the music wasn't good.
This era of punk rock is not something I really care about at all.
Right. Yeah.
The
mailman must be walking by if you hear my dogs.
I do hear your dogs. But overall, the story points are they work for what they're trying to do. Knowing that basically they kind of built a story out and then took a bunch of the footage out and then re-added some stuff. I actually was okay with it. It really,
it's a bold move.
Yeah. And
really
we've seen
is.
it done before in the past and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But this actually they put together a full story. You got a nice kind of like twist at the end and gave you some additional like information and like, it was good for what it was. I hate this. I kind of almost hate saying that, but I didn't hate this movie.
No, I didn't hate it, but it doesn't register on the chart. You know what I mean?
It's not something that's going to stick with me.
This is going to exist in my brain as an anomaly that I can point to, talking about in another conversation. I know this weird fact. Right. That's what it's good for.
And one of the things that I did appreciate is that they did build some good points within this simple story. Because you had, what was it, Elda, who was like the head of like the rock band. And we find out that she's also one of the ones that's like kidnapping and getting the girls drug addicted and then selling them off and like sex slavery and stuff.
Right.
And she works at she like runs out of one of the clubs, and then you get one of the girls that works at one of the bordellos, massage parlor.
Yeah.
And she teams up with Dillinger, and then like there's surprisingly like a decent amount of stuff going on in this. And then when you realize it was made as a porno, you were like, who in their right mind is going to want to watch this as an adult film? Like, there's too much going on.
Yeah.
I don't need any of this.
It did actually explain a lot, like when they play pinball for oral sex. That suddenly makes more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really did, man. It was like
God damn, this motherfucker is forward. Oh no, it's a porn set. Okay. Oh well.
There was one other point I wanted to make. I mean, this really, again, there's not a lot to say about it, but it's for free on Tubi. So, the other point I wanted to make was, when the twist came, did you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was a nice little addition at the end. I was like, okay, they really
tried.
did think about this.
They tried.
They really did think about it.
Yeah.
All right. So, where is what was I using? All right, Chris, do you recommend it was your grade for 1979 punk rock?
This is right in the middle. I could stutter my way through that sentence a little more if you'd like.
Try.
It's not good, but on the other hand, they took a porn and made a movie, and I watched it, and I only had a little bit of a suspicion, but nothing that made me go and search it out on the web to find out if my suspicion was true. So, good on you for doing this, but should you?
You said it with like a good on you,
I guess. But on the other hand, should you have? So, do I recommend it? I don't know. And I'm going to give it a C. I'm going straight down the middle because this is a weird anomaly of a movie and I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a bizarre little thing. And again, only in the late 1970s is something like this like gonna be put out there. But you know what? In terms of, I'm gonna recommend it because it is an interesting little oddity when you watch it. And I think watching it, knowing how it was made and what they were trying to do with it, you almost automatically start to give some forgiveness to some of the ridiculous stuff you've seen, like the really stilted acting, the cardboard made sets. Like half the sets look like they're made out of friggin' paper mache.
For me though, as long as you don't bump into them and show it, I'm fine with your sets.
Oh, I agree 100%, man. I agree 100% with that. But for what it is, the really weird music cues, the very stock 70s, music, the punk rock stuff is almost like, I didn't need full performances from these bands. I didn't want them. After seeing them, I wish I hadn't. Like you could very much just like, and then also like whenever there was a scene where like Dillinger and Jana were in the club and there was a band playing in the background, like you couldn't hear anything they were saying. So like, cause they must have really tried to film dialogue while the band was playing. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Stupidity is what's going on.
Dillinger's like, so Jana, when are you going to tell me what's going on with the people that took Jenny? And she's like, I'm trying to enjoy the band. And I was like, well, nobody's enjoying this.
No.
I'm looking at the band. I'm like, I don't think they're enjoying it.
Nope.
So
they
there's definitely some things in it when you're watching it that you can't be like, all right, well, this is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But overall, it's an interesting little thing to watch. It's 90 minutes, 93 minutes or whatever it is. So it's totally like, it's acceptable for what it is.
Yeah.
So as far as a grade, I can't give it anything higher than like a C-. But if you're into 70s cinema and you kind of like those oddities from from time to time, it's not doing anything really like out there or weird. You're not going to watch this and be like, oh man, they were like pushing the envelope for such and such. I guess they're pushing the envelope for adult films in terms of like how far away from an adult film do you want this to be, but still have everybody boning.
True. And will the perverts give a shit if this is actually punk rock or not? No, right. They won't.
Like you couldn't make a movie like this today and call it punk rock with the music that's in it because today's culture is just like, this is not punk rock.
This isn't even music.
At the time it was.
I guess, yeah.
Because Debbie Harry was in one of those bands at one point. I forget which one it was, but like, because she worked at Max's Kansas City and then she was in one of the bands. And this is far past the time. And Blondie was already like fucking huge at the time. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to give it a C- and a recommend if you're into this type of stuff. All right, here we go. All right, so Alternative 3 is I couldn't find a trailer for it, but I did pull a clip just to kind of give you guys a feel of what we got here.
A casi 380,000
That's not even in the right language.
Muy cerca ya de la superficie lunar, el Apolo descubrió otras luces que volaban en...
That's not fun. I thought this was the English one. Is there not one in English? Where the hell did it go? Man, I can't win.
No.
Whoops, that's not right. That's not right. This one.
Random cacophony. That was something we'd have to wait much longer to find out. In the meantime, however, something happened which, at least at first, seemed to offer us some sort of a clue.
An outside telephone call was put through to the science report office. I found myself talking to a man with an American accent who refused to give his name or any other details of himself over the phone. He told me only that he had met Sir William Ballantyne on a visit the British astronomer had made shortly before his death to NASA Space Headquarters in Houston, Texas. We arranged to meet not far from here in 1 hour's time. Okay.
All right. So, Science Report 1977, Alternative 3. Chris, where'd you say you found this again, bud?
Somebody was going over a bunch of crazy conspiracy theories and cults. And this showed up as one of them because there still is a conspiracy theory group that believes it's real.
What?
Yeah.
No, there isn't. That's bullshit. Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Dude,
All right.
the human race is fucking stupid.
Yeah, obviously. There's people that are mad that Tucker Carlson got fired by Fox, so.
Should have been flayed in the streets. What?
So many idiots out there that are like, Fox woke liberal agenda. It's like, did you really just say that? Is that like a thing that you just typed out on Twitter? Tucker Carlson's the only reason your network is alive. Now that he's gone, nobody's gonna watch it. Like, I don't necessarily think that's true. I think you're gonna still watch it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Alternative 377. So this is a legit conspiracy thing, huh?
It turned into it for a small group of people, yeah. Because what this does, I'll give the overview here. It's the brief is it's a 1977 British mockumentary, aired once in the UK. It was later aired in Australia, Canada, and New Zealand as a hoax, purporting to be an investigation into the UK's contemporary, quote, brain drain. Alternative 3 uncovers, quotes, a plan to make the moon and Mars habitable in the event of climate change and a terminal environmental catastrophe on Earth. This was 1977, people. So the program was originally meant to be aired on April Fool's Day, 1977, but its broadcast was delayed to June 20th.
Okay.
Alternative 3 ended with credits for the actors involved in the production and featured interviews with a fictitious American astronaut. So there were labor disputes going on, and they couldn't get the air date that they wanted. So it would have been a lot easier to debunk if it was on April 1st. But that just fuels it. So anyway, the brain drain they're talking about is there are disappearances and deaths of engineers, astronomers, physicists, and the one that they talk about is Professor Ballantyne, and he's got a videotape, and it's secret stuff that they have to figure out, and it basically it ends up being that there's hypothesized a secret American Soviet plan to basically take the smartest people and save them from the Earth.
Because we know the Americans were working with the Russians so much in the late 70s.
Well, they do say that was the whole reason for the Cold War, was to throw off suspicion that this was happening.
Oh,
right?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So a conspiracy theorist could come up with any number of reasons to play this off. Let's see.
And anyone with a rational mind can come up with any number of reasons to tell you why it's not real.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some facts to go along with it, but I mean, alternative facts.
All right, let's see what we have here. Let's see. It's noted Alternative 3 and the intermittent availability of the book lent itself to conspiracist interpretations. And though Alternative 3 did not mention UFOs or extraterrestrials, many of the plans mentioned in Alternative 3 have been featured and later assorted conspiracy theories. Barkan, somebody who was mentioned earlier, agrees that Alternative 3 was important in that its, quote, role in the growth of conspiracy theory lay in a later permutation related to UFOs and the UFO conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that pulls from this. This is sort of kind of maybe linked to Chariot of the Gods, and just people want a reason, they want a reason to think that there's something bigger out there. And if this helps people, I've never heard of the people that believe this. I've never heard about it. And if they're just talking about crazy conspiracy stuff like there's UFOs and they're going to take Elon Musk to Mars so he can colonize the planet, fucking go for it.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I never heard of this, and I love when you bring something like this to the plate because I never would have even remotely, there's no way I would ever found about this because I'm not a crazy conspiracy theorist like you are.
Well, I'm not, but I like seeing what they're thinking.
That's what you put out there and for everyone to know, but you know your deep state. You know your deep throat.
I'm going to disconnect now.
See ya. Thanks for coming. But was Science Report, was that a real show?
Okay, so let's see. The program was presented as an edition of an Anglia TV series called Science Report. So let me go to the citation here.
As read in Popular Mechanics or Popular Science?
It was the unredacted.com for that one, and then a press release. I don't know. I don't know
Okay,
if
that's fair.
Science
That's fair.
Report is real. I'm gonna keep going though and see.
Fair. So its presentation, while you do that, I'll talk about a little bit about the presentation.
Yeah.
Is very standard, 1 hour. Well, it's actually broken up into two. What?
You type Science Report TV show into Google and you get Alternative 3, Alternative 3, Alternative 3.
All right.
And it's Amazon, IMDb, YouTube, Wikipedia, Letterboxd.
Its presentation is of a weekly science or conspiracy type TV show or whatever. It's two half-hour episodes with commercial time taken out because it runs about 54 minutes. It's presented very much in that standard 1970s television format, where everything is very stilted, everything is very stark, and it's very standard. I mean, it's
yeah.
I'm blown away that people bought this as real. I can understand somebody coming across the Blair Witch Project and being like, okay, maybe this is real.
Right.
I can totally buy into that. But this, it's like when they get the film from the guy and they're like, we were able to gather the film, clean it up, and here it is presented. We're watching it together for the first time.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it gets crackly and then it cleans up and then it gets crackly and then it cleans up. And I'm like, that's not how film works, man.
No, but people were far more trusting back then.
This guy
it
with his
wasn't.
accent's telling me it's good. It must be real.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll buy those cigarettes today.
Pack a pound miles, I'm on it.
Also, Brian Eno did the music for it.
Yeah, which is bizarre, man.
And everybody was credited as their real or their actor name and their character name at the end. So people did not stick around to watch the end of it.
Well, just like War of the Worlds, where if you had stuck around and listened to the entire thing, you would have found out at the end that it was not real. Instead, people immediately went out and got water and bread.
Yeah, well, because it wasn't snow. They didn't need milk.
Right. No milk. Everyone owned their own cow back then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it's good, though. It's presented a little bit outlandish, but overall, it's very weighted and, it's stilted in that news reporter sort of way. The sensationalism is not crazy. I love when they meet up with the astronaut and he doesn't want to say anything until they get him drunk. And then he's like, let me tell you about fucking Alternative 3, man. There's little green men up there giving each other hand jobs over the Russians. It's like, what are you talking about? But that guy's like, and when he calls the reporter, he calls him a pussy because he wants to drink beer, not hard liquor.
Yeah.
Get a real drinking pussy.
That was weird.
It was bizarre. But it struck me as believable because when he starts to tell you the story of what's going on and all this stuff and how he's not supposed to say anything and his life has been okay, all right, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I do wish that it had gone a little bit deeper. And I get that what it was supposed to be and the reason why it only runs 54 minutes. But I think this is actually one that they could have made a full 90-minute, hour, 45-minute mockumentary and been fairly effective because I felt like just when it starts to get interesting, it ends.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been more interesting if it was pulled at the end. Like this is the point where we're stopping this quote unquote 2-hour broadcast. You know, it takes them 50 minutes to get down to the studio to pull the tape and arrest the people showing it. That would have been interesting. Because I'm not going to tell you how it ends. Just how I think it should have ended.
Yeah, right. Well, that's more important. It's more important what you think should have happened.
To me, it is.
What was the found footage, like NASA movie from a few years ago?
There were 2 that I can remember. There was that Apollo 18 or whatever it was.
I think that's the one I'm thinking of. That was like the monsters on the moon or whatever.
Yeah, there's also one called... Fuck, what is it called? But it's about faking the moon landing. And that one I found so much more interesting because it's set back in that time and they have to use Super 8 and 16 millimeter. Let me see.
I don't think I ever saw that. I definitely saw Apollo 18 or whatever it was, and that actually was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting much.
It wasn't great, but it was better than. I mean, maybe I'm giving it more credit than it sounds like I should be, but it wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. Like I watched it and like I may watch it again at some point, but because found footage films now are just so hit or miss, mostly misses, but every now and then they come across a good one.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do love the 1970s mockumentary feel.
Operation Avalanche.
Oh, I didn't see that.
From 2016. In 1967, 4 undercover CIA agents were sent to NASA posing as a documentary film crew. What they discovered led to one of the biggest conspiracies in American history. It's pretty well done. I enjoyed it. I may watch that again this week.
I'm going to have to put it back on the list here. Hang on. Let me add it so I don't forget.
I like how they did their absolute best to keep to that 60s, mid 60s aesthetic with the hats and the suits and all that. It was nice.
It's on Vudu.
Oh, okay.
It's on Plex too.
Oh, nice.
And Roku. It's on Roku, Hoopla, Vudu, Canopy, and Plex. Yeah, no, I thought this was good. I thought it was good. I don't think it was great. I think Ghostwatch was better.
Yeah.
But watching this and having seen Ghostwatch, I definitely see the parallels.
Yeah.
I definitely see the parallels.
Yeah, it was
anything
fun.
Else? I don't really think there's anything else we can say about it, right?
No, because I mean, it's the details. It's the way they try to build the conspiracy or build the lore of that timeline. I guess that's the interesting part, is how they almost convince you it's real if you're willing to buy in for that movie's runtime, is what I mean. So,
Chris, do you recommend, and what is your grade for what the hell is it called? Alternative 3.
Yeah. I am going to recommend this because it's under an hour. It's fairly interesting, and
free to watch on YouTube.
And it's on YouTube. Yes. So, I'm going to recommend it, and I'm going to give it just a straight B. It kept my attention. It explained why stuff would be hidden, and I felt like it was what it was trying to be, like a mainstream look at what they're doing kind of thing. I enjoyed that. That was all right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to recommend it too. It's short. It's free on YouTube. The rip is obviously not great because this is not something that I think they ever planned on releasing. I want to say there was a limited VHS of it at some point that had come out, but I'm not sure. But it's on YouTube. You can just watch it on YouTube. As far as a grade, I'm going to give it a C+. I did want more, and I think it's good that I wanted more, but at the same time, there's not a lot there.
Yeah,
it's enough to pique your interest, and then not having any type of follow up on it is a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah,
but there
is a book written by Leslie Watkins which expands on it, which is where a lot
didn't Leslie Watkins make another book after this?
I believe
and,
so.
Made it more like in depth, or like rewrote the book or something.
Yeah, that might be what that is, because it says republished with new material. So yeah.
Cool. Well, there you have it. Speaking of having things, Joe's back this week.
Nice.
And he's continuing with the scary movie saga. Let's see.
Oh, before you start this, I want to say I only watched, I think, up to Scary Movie 3. And I want to point out right now, my favorite part out of all of them, and see, oh no, because he'll listen to this. I think it's in part 3.
Yeah, he's only
so
on the
never mind.
second one right now.
All right, so I'll do this right before part 3 then.
Okay, then. All right, here we go.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris. And hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here. And, this week, Bill made me grab onto his strong hand, because he made me watch Scary Movie 2. Scary Movie 2 begins with a combo parody of both The Exorcist and Amityville Horror. How timely. I guess I get it, though. They're setting up the history of the big-ass mansion that most of the movie takes place in. Then James Woods, gross, shows up to play the part of both Father Merrin from The Exorcist and Father Delaney from Amityville, kind of rolled into one part.
Okay.
And they tell the smartest, most nuanced joke I've ever seen in cinema. They recreate the scene from Amityville with the flies attacking Father Delaney, and guess what? It's not from the demon. It's James Woods taking a shit. Oh, he even makes a joke about enchiladas. And I mean, if they had done something that would have tied it in to be like a subtle Friday the 13th Part 5 joke, I would have actually loved it. But no, it's just a joke about how Mexican food destroyed his fragile white intestinal tract.
Pussy.
Like, so far, I'm not sure why.
James Woods not
being the best of the Scary Movie franchise. I mean, so far, this feels like I need to take a few THC gummies to enjoy it more. And I only take those before bed. Listen, it's not like I can't get down with lowbrow humor. I know I occasionally sound a little snobby and judgmental. But you know what? Here's a quick top 5 lowbrow movies that I love, just to try to prove to a listening audience that I have nothing to prove anything to, that I can get down with the fart jokes too. Number 5, Kingpin. Number 2, the first 2 American Pie movies. Number 3, Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stop.
So good.
Number 2, Billy Madison, and number 1, Super Troopers. See, I love dumb comedies too. They made the joke in the first movie about people in their late
How did you not include Black Dynamite in that
being
list?
cast as teenagers
or Hot Rod.
movies. Now, I'm not sure
I love
if that's
Hot Rod.
the joke that they were trying to make
Good
when
stuff.
they cast Tori Spelling in this, but they don't acknowledge it, and it kind of feels like pity casting. I mean, she was visibly too old to play a teenager when they cast her in 90210, and that was over a decade earlier than Scary Movie 2. They don't even make a never been kissed joke here. That would have at least been done something with it. Where they failed with casting Tori Spelling, they made up for in casting Tim Curry as the pervy psychology professor organizing a paranormal investigation into the big-ass mansion from the opening. If there's a movie that wouldn't be better by having Tim Curry in it, I haven't seen it.
That's a good point.
They're mostly spoofing The Haunting here, and I'm going to miss some references. I'm going to miss some references here I did the first time, because in that smorgasbord of modern remakes of old horror that happened in the early aughts, The Haunting was maybe the only one that I didn't see.
It was bad.
I'm sorry, it looked boring as fuck.
It was.
House of the Hill was dope as fuck, though.
That
Maybe
is true.
the best and most referenced part of this movie, 20 years removed, is Chris Elliott as the creepy butler.
Yep.
Grab onto my strong hand. You know, I go back and forth on Chris Elliott. Sometimes he's dead on and he understands the assignment, as he did in this movie. Other times he is so annoying that the only thing I want to see him in is a new Faces of Death movie as man who gets doused in kerosene, set on fire, but he lives only to be ripped apart by a pack of possums who were given LSD. Ferris is still the glue that holds this all together, but they made this one a bit more of an ensemble, and it both benefits from it and is done a disservice by it. Much like the first film, this thing is super duper hit or miss. Also very much like the first film, I haven't laughed once.
Oh.
But I'm still enjoying it. Not sure if that says more about the movie or about me, but here we are. Like, you'd think that since this movie features Tim Curry, that he would naturally fill the role of overacting guy. But if you've seen this movie, you know that a young upstart named Marlon Wayans got there first. He took that parking spot. Obviously, I've just broken down into random thoughts because this movie has ADHD worse than I do, and while I must again stress that I'm enjoying it, the success that the first 3 scary movies saw is less explainable than the time travel machine made out of junk in Looper. I'm not sure what else I can say about this movie, so just, here's the thing. The good, Anna Faris is a fantastic comedic actor. I was also reminded that Ride With Me by Nelly is a fucking bop, son. That song rules. The bad, it's just there and then it's gone. Like whenever old people go on a tangent about the attention spans of young people, something that has happened since, I don't know, Paleolithic times, like this is the kind of shit they're talking about. I'm sure when Airplane came out, there were old people that were like, oh, that movie is just a bunch of random jokes they threw together. And yes, it's true, but at least that's good. Just as good as the first one. Scary Movie 2 gets a pass. I feel like this is the cliff, and the last 3, none of which I've seen, are I don't think I've ever had such like a sense of like, the next few weeks are just gonna suck so bad.
No.
But I guess I'll find out next week when I watch Scary Movie 3. Until then, be good, everyone.
I mean, Joe had to go through the entire witchcraft saga. I mean, Scary Movie 4 is probably as bad as it is gotta be better than Witchcraft 13 or whatever it was.
We'll see. Bad comedy is a terrible thing.
We'll see, but there's always on a film, so
that's true.
Okay, I gotta dig since we weren't here last week. I gotta dig through and find Scott's there it is. 791, this is 792. I think you saw the Mario Brothers movie, but it's a secret.
Oh, okay.
Shh.
It's going to get warm, so that's not going to be good for us. Yeah, 63, 72, 66, 74, 83.
Only if she's 5'3".
Damn, that was good.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
With Reverend Scott.
Oh, what the hell is that smell?
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott. What you up to?
Just our 2 dumb fucking heads sitting there.
Indeed. Well, for me personally, I was on last week's Trick or Treat Radio reviewing a movie called Holy Shit. Because why wouldn't I? And also I watched a new movie based on a Nintendo game. Mamma mia, whatever movie could that be, you ask? Sorry, but the answer to that is in another castle. So I guess I'll just have to make you stick around and wait to find out. For now, let's just see how you did last week, because I heard some top-tier trash on the show, and the movies you reviewed were pretty trashy too.
Hey, fuck off.
What was that first movie you covered called, Bill?
From 2011, Korean film, original title. All right, God help me here. Gohyang-ai, Juk Ebu Nguyen, Doigai Yue Nun.
Since you obviously just made that up, I'll help everyone out. You reviewed The Cat. Here's a trailer. Okay, well, you get the gist of it. Anyway, the plot sounded pretty deep, because some lady that grooms cats gets offered a cursed cat.
I just groomed that cat earlier.
Yeah.
He's like, well, the owner is dead. Can you take this cat?
And that's basically it. It's more or less a ripoff of all those other Asian horror flicks you've seen before, except with a cat. And the best part of the movie wasn't even in the movie. It's when Chris made a tribute to Ray Parker Jr.
Something strange in the neighborhood. I think they better call the fucking police because she's dead.
Well, for that alone, I think it deserves a C+. But the review, that gets a B+. And since we're done with the cat, you know what it's time for now.
The Bad Milo flick about the Native American butt demon.
Oh man, a butt demon. I'm ready to laugh my ass off already. Tell me more.
It's a story about a guy who has these incredibly bad stomach pains.
Yeah.
That manifest themselves as a demon that lives in his intestines and comes out through his butt. Sounds like a laugh riot, right?
Yes.
But it isn't.
No.
That's right. The movie about a killer butt demon decided instead of going full trashy schlock, they would rather focus on things like plot, character development, and conveying realistic human emotion. You know, stupid shit.
This movie's actually very well written for like a movie about a butt demon.
Yeah.
So for this egregious error in judgment by the filmmakers, I have decided that Bad Milo only gets a C-. Maybe they can redeem themselves in Bad Milo 2, Ass Blaster 9000. But until then, you'll just have to take some comfort in the fact that I give your review an A-. Nice. So now that we got that shit out of the way, we can move on to what I've been watching. And like I teased, I saw a new movie based on a Nintendo game. And as you have likely already guessed it, I saw Tetris. That's right, I hacked into someone's Apple TV subscription and watched the gripping story of game developer for Bulletproof Software, Hank Rogers, played by Mr. Kingsman himself, Taron Egerton. While at an electronics show trying to sell his own crappy game, he bears witness to Tetris, a game created by an indie developer, Alexei Pavjitov, whatever, deep in communist Russia in Moscow. And after tracking down who has the rights to the game, he purchases Japanese console and arcade rights in order to work out a deal with Nintendo.
Good, great, wonderful.
Then they make the game, sell it, and they all live happily ever after. Movie's over. Right?
It's way worse than that.
Oh, you know it is, because that was a lie. The more we meet the men behind these dealings, the more we find out that there's a lot of red tape, government interference, and Hank not only has his whole company riding on the line, but he has his own house on it too. So his wife in Japan is not super happy about that.
And things get weird, Chris, right?
Well, if sure, yes.
You're right, Chris, because that's when you find out that the Russian government is involved too, and the KGB, and the Maxwells of the giant Mirsoft Corporation, and they all work together to make a fair deal without any issues.
That's good.
I just lied again. There's backstabbing, double-crossing, sometimes possible lifetime in prison looming overhead. And the center of it all is poor creator Alexei, who's not even allowed to profit from his own creation. Now, I don't know what percentage of this story is true to life or embellished, but as the movie picks up steam, it sure turns into a roller coaster of craziness and uncertainty, car chases, shady deals, and a few people getting what they deserve in all possible ways. In my opinion, if you're going to see a movie based on a Nintendo game right now, this is the one to watch. And I give Tetris a B+. Besides the thrilling, wonderful story, you have a very likable character like Hank and his wife and his daughter, and even Alexei with his wife, including his backstory involving problems with the government and his father. There's just dozens of surprises along the way, and it always keeps you guessing. But there's one thing you probably can guess pretty easily, and it's that my segment is over for this week. But make sure you tune in to Outside the Cinema next week, when Chris reminisces about how bad Milo could have been worse Milo.
I actually thought from the poster that it was Ray Romano.
Oh, gross. That would have been terrible.
Yeah. Oh, I got a demon coming out of my ass. I don't know what to do. Oh, hey, fuck that.
Bill gets mad that I was on Trick or Treat Radio behind his back, and it reminds me that OTC is the only true path to success.
I'm a winner and you're a loser. This is why I'm always going to succeed and you never will.
And finally, Bill and Chris struggle to find YouTube short content to use other than just parts of my segment.
30-second to 1 minute clips are like, oh, those guys are funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you just have to look at us for an hour.
Well, when you fucking cherry pick it, yeah, we're hilarious.
Yeah, I find the one joke that hit.
All that and so many other one jokes that hit. But until then, peace and love, guys. Holy Shit with Reverend Scott.
It never really came together in any satisfying way.
Yeah, and then it just kind of ends. All right. There's a great documentary on the Tetris scandal on Hulu, which is worth checking out. And I, too, was on Trick or Treat Radio last week. So
that show's still on?
Yeah. It was fun. I stayed for the whole time. It was great. All right. Thank you for listening to Outside the Cinema. We will be back again next week with another episode and 2 film reviews. I got to get caught up on some things, and then we'll hopefully be right back there.
Yeah.
If you like what you hear and you would like to support the show, go to patreon.com/outsidethecinema. Your monthly donation goes directly back into keeping the show on the air and expunging us from costs. Those of you guys that are members, I don't say thank you enough, but we really do appreciate it because it does keep the show on the air. So thank you guys very much. I realize I have that fucking music blasting and I'm screaming over it. There's no need for me to be. I can just turn it down. If you want to chat about things, go over to our Facebook group. Just go to Facebook groups and search Outside the Cinema. And next week, I don't know what we're doing, but we'll figure it out soon enough.
Yep.
OTC Bill and Cthulhu on Instagram, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah. Cool. Everyone have themselves a good week. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye.